Let us move on. Now you see, I want you to read in sense groups. Sense groups means as the learner, someone listens, a chunk of meaning should come together. So see, I have marked the first one for you. Would you all try to mark the sense groups for this small passage? This is some kind of a conversation between two people. Try to do it on your own. Mentally, you make a mark. I'll give you 1 minute. Mentally try to make a mark. Mark the sense group. The first one I've done for you. A little boy was in a bus, so it makes a complete sense. So make a guess. Where will you mark the sense groups for the others? Make an attempt. I'll give you 1 minute. Okay. Now I need a volunteer to read in sense groups, because this is a dialogue between two people. So I would also expect you to have tonal variations. You know, one is a boy, one is an old man, and there's some humor in this. Okay, so would a volunteer read this out? Imagine you're reading this out aloud in the classroom. I would like one of you to volunteer and read. Modulate your voice, a change in tone with the boy's utterance and the grandfather's utterance. And finally, the boy, he says with a punch. You know, it's like slapping on the face, you know. Please,
shall I try, sir? Shall
please
I try?
do, please do, please do.
A little boy was in a bus eating a chocolate. Then he took another one and then another. A man next to him said, "Do you know that too much of it will damage your teeth?" The boy replied, "My grandfather lived for 132 years. The man asked, "Was it because of eating chocolate?" The boy replied, "No, he was always minding his own business."
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. You see, if you modulate your voice, especially when the boy speaks and when the grandfather speaks, this learner in the classroom gets sensitized to the spoken form. So reading aloud is also indirectly helping you to speak, you know. This similar dialogue can happen in real life also. But to sensitize them to that aspect, when you ask a question, it's a rising tone. No, it's a falling tone, minding his own business, a falling tone. The tonal variation should come. Okay, fine. So this is how I would have marked the stress. Have a good look at it. This is how I would have marked the sense groups, you see. So this comes through practice. You have to mentally get the idea. Okay, this is one idea, then another idea. So then you mark it. And if you read in chunks like this, the person who hears is able to receive it properly. Okay, so this comes again through practice. You have to consciously learn. Okay, and when you are reading in the classroom, reading aloud, the teacher, when you read aloud, this is a great opportunity for the learner to pick up this idea of reading in sense groups, pausing and reading, articulating, modulating voice. And it is you who have to do it. In fact, you will be modeling it. Okay, just as the other person, the professor was trying to modulate. Okay, so what does reading aloud imply? It is the ability to read in sense groups. It is the ability to read with proper pronunciation. It is the ability to articulate words properly, using proper stress, pitch, and intonation. And more importantly, capture the spirit of the text, convey the emotions verbally and non-verbally. So you see, if you read following all these, your reading becomes effective. Children are going to enjoy. They get sensitized to pronunciation. You see, so you have a great role to play. You have to consciously practice to improve your ability. Now, there is a particular lesson in the Macmillan Reader, and this is actually by a lesson about the Nobel Prize winner, Psychiatry. Okay, and you know, towards the end of that lesson, as you can see, this is the last lines of his speech. Okay, can one of you volunteer to read out the last few lines? Remember, this is a speech and it has to be delivered like that. Would one of you like to volunteer and read this? Anyone? Yes, please unmute and try. Yes.
Let
Yes.
us let us
Yes.
march from darkness to light. Let us march from mortality to divinity. Let us march.
Fine. Actually, you should really listen to it. This is available on YouTube. Now, did you all have a look at the text? Read the text silently, and then please look at what I've typed. If you look at it, this can also form a poem. You see, where should you pause? Of course, we all know that we pause after a full stop. But then, this has also this form, and this can be read as a poem. And then the speech, after each line with punch, you can do that. So this sense comes through understanding the text, realizing the situation in which this text is presented. So it's a speech. And if you deliver it in that way, the students will really enjoy. Or if you simply read it as a prose text, let us democratize knowledge, let us universalize justice. Together we can globalize compassion for our children. I call upon you in this room and all across the world. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't give you the spirit of the text. These all are practice, the teacher, the preparations that the teacher has to do before the teacher walks into the classroom to read aloud. The constructivism is something so common in schools in Kerala, and we all follow Vygotsky. And this is what a researcher who has tried to interpret Vygotsky's idea about reading. Learning to read would be better approach as a whole to part or whole language process. And encourages understanding and pleasure in the written word. Do you know that to say that you know English, a word means you should know the word, the spelling, the pronunciation, the grammar, context in which the word appears. Okay, all this is important, and then the multiple meanings it can have. And when a word goes with another word, what it becomes. You know how phrasal verbs, when some words get different meanings, in idioms, how words get different meaning. Now all this, and only then that the pleasure comes, or if you just simply learn one word. I've seen number of students, if there is a difficult word, they'll immediately sir, give me a simple meaning. And they're satisfied. They're not willing to learn a new word. The more your vocabulary, the better your understanding, and the pleasure again is also different. Okay, so reading aloud is something you can't, though you say that in constructivism, you encourage the students to participate and generate language. No, sometimes it may not happen. There is conscious learning also implied in that.